All right, now we're recording. Hooray! Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Again, welcome back to the Peasant Party Podcast. I am your host, Charlotte Warren. It is extremely hot outside in Austin, Texas. Very much so. Very much so. I think it's like 105 degrees or something for the next like 25
Yeah, when you get
days.
in your car, it's always like 120. I'm like, dude,
Yes.
this gotta chill.
It's the worst. It's the worst. Like like when it's winter, I'm just like, oh, I wish it was like hot again. And then I'm like, at this point, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a cold winter. And then winter, I know I'm gonna hate myself.
And winter in Texas, and I don't know about, well, specifically Austin, it's only like a month, 2 months at most.
True.
Yeah, because it doesn't get, it gets very cold. Well, for us, it gets very cold, but like, it doesn't last very long.
True.
That's the only bad part, because it's like always hot, and then the 2 months of winter.
Totally. Yeah, let's let everybody know who this friendly guy is talking to me about the weather. Tell me about yourself, Carlos.
I am Carlos Mojica, co-owner of Opinionated Media. We just had you on our podcast not too long ago. For your fans who haven't watched it, if you haven't watched it yet, go check it out. It's a good one. But yeah, I'm just a simple guy, simple needs, and own a media company.
Love to hear it. And yeah, if y'all remember Cam's episode, Carlos is Cam's counterpart. So really wanted to get them both in for their own solo episode to help me answer some interesting dating questions that have been sent our way. We've got some fun ones today. Yeah, I think before we go into it, yeah, Carlos, want to answer some personal questions about kind of your experience dating, like what your relationship status right now, kind of your I guess high level overview of your dating history. You don't have to throw in any names, as much or as little as you want to share.
So currently I am taken. I'm off the market, ladies. I'm sorry. But beautiful girlfriend. Been together for about 4 or 5 months now.
Nice.
And then before that, I was single for about a year and a half. Didn't really talk to nobody. Just kind of worked on myself. Before that, I was in like a 4-year relationship.
Ooh.
It was toxic, really, for the most part. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. It was toxic.
How'd you meet your current girlfriend?
So there was a point in time we both worked at the same job for very briefly. It was like that, both of us. So it was just quick. And then we worked once together, and then after that, it was kind of funny. We never saw each other again. And then we saw each other again, and then I asked for her number. She gave it to me, and then she didn't work there no more, and I currently don't work there anymore. And then just hit off ever since.
Nice.
Yeah, it was quick.
What was your first date?
First date. So I tried to take her, I guess, on her for her birthday, because we started talking and then it came her birthday, and I tried to take her for her birthday, but it was just too busy. And then she just came over, and that was like our first date, I guess.
Kind of like Cam's first date.
Yeah, she just came over because we just kept trying to hang out, but just stuff kind of happened. And then she was like, hey, I'm off today, and I work from home. I was like, yeah, I mean, come over if you want. I'm just working. And then from then, that's kind of, she just always came over. And then our first real official date was after we were like dating, of course. I guess that kind of seems bad. But we had coffee. We just went and grab coffee. And then,
Yeah. I feel like that's how sometimes the chips just fall that way when you meet through like friends of friends or some other like warm connection. Because there's not the fear of like, will I get murdered by this person the way there is with like a dating app date. Yeah, like I think I feel like that's totally normal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm busy, as you know, because you're in the same world as us. And then she just got done with school, and then she just had like a lot of stuff going on at the time, so it was just easier for her to come over when she could, rather than us just going and doing something, because then you had to like plan for it rather than it was more of a spontaneous thing.
Awesome. And you had a long stretch of time being single before you guys met.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice. I was in the same, but I think I was single for 3 years before I got into my relationship, and you learn a lot in those years.
I learned a lot. I'm a very different person now than I was then. My last relationship ended very bad, but I'm very thankful for it at the same time.
Totally. Do you know a thing or two about breakups?
Unfortunately.
Because I think Cam got the first date episode, you get the breakup episode.
I'm here for it.
But I think it'll be a fun one, because the questions are pretty fun. I guess I'll dive into kind of the first quick hitter, which will lead us into. So the way we do it, the way we do things around here, we have we have a quick hit question, a mailbag, another quick hit, and a mailbag. Sometimes we rearrange things, but the quick hit is usually something fast, then we read somebody's mailbag. We always talk through it too. It's never just like you got to do this. It's always, here's what you could do. We kind of pick it apart because a lot of these scenarios are relatable. And yeah, we kind of go through, a lot of them are very someone people can probably relate their own dating situations to these. So I guess the first kind of question on my quick hit list. So when Cam was last here, we played a game. I called it Goldilocks and the Three Peasants. There's two peasants here today. Basically, the idea is, with Goldilocks, too hot, too cold, just right. So we're looking at a situation. What's too hot, too cold, just right, or too much, too little, just right, for a breakup. So we're looking at specifically in this case of a breakup, we're looking at someone where you are 3 dates in. You're probably not in a relationship with someone after 3 dates. You've had 3 dates with them, 3 real dates, and then you've decided after these 3 dates that you don't want to see them anymore. What is too hot, too cold, just right, kind of ranging from the options of, ghosting or not saying anything at all, text, phone call, in-person discussion. Like, what are your kind of thoughts there?
So we'll go with the too much. We'll start off with too much. The too much is, I feel like after 3 dates, you just tell the person like how great they are and you had a great time and keep giving them all these compliments, but you're still like not wanting to pursue it. I feel like for whoever it is, like, I don't want to hear these things. Yeah. And then you just kind of leave me. Like, there's no reason for you to be telling me these things. At least I wouldn't want to hear that personally. Too little, I guess, is kind of nothing at all. You really don't give like any. You just kind of ghost them, as you said, or just a quick just kind of ghosting. And then, was it just right? Just right. Just give them that closure, like, hey, had a great time. Just don't want to continue forward anymore. Somewhere along those words. If
you were to help a friend write a breakup text, what would you tell them to say? 3 dates in.
3 dates in. Hey, sheesh, putting me on the spot here. I had a great time. Just right now is not the time for me to be dating anybody. I don't know. That's hard. Because I feel like I would have to, if you at least like give me examples about, all right, you tell her this. I don't know. But yeah, I'll just be like, hey, right now is not the time. I got all this going on, depending on what it is. If it was me, I got all this going on. Or we'll just use Cam. Cam's not breaking up, but we'll just use him. Like, hey, I got a lot going on. I'm running this media company. I just barely have any dates. I had a great time. Just right now, just isn't the time.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I think kind of the word salad of trying to figure out what to say goes to show how hard this is. Like, I think some people really get hung up over exactly how a breakup text is worded in a way. Like, why did they say this and not that? And I think a lot of times it's just you're scratching your head and you're pulling just whatever you think is nice out of your head without leading somebody on and still sending the message across.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard on both ends because it's hard to receive it and it's also hard to do it because most people don't want to like send that text and everybody doesn't want to receive that text.
Totally.
Unless it's been bad, they're like, oh man, I'm just waiting for him to just end it.
Totally.
Or her to just end it.
Would you rather be the dumper or the dumpy?
Probably the dumper.
Okay.
I'd probably be the dumper.
Okay. Both sides have pros and cons.
They're
both
have pros
and cons for a shitty situation overall.
I feel like if you're getting dumped, you aren't the dumper because you want it and you like where it's going and you like the person and you like the vibe and everything that's going on. So like we've all been there. Like you're digging the person and we all think about them. We want to text him, her, hang out with them, see what just always be around them and whatnot. And so once that message comes, you're like, this is not what I was expecting.
That's
true.
All right. That's true. I feel like the good part about being the dumpy is like you get a bunch of friends circling around you to pump you up and stuff. Like when you're the dumper, like by default you're the asshole to someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then people, why'd you do it? You get like you get more of like the sympathy points.
Absolutely.
So I think
when you're getting, like you said, people are hyping you up like, oh, you don't need him, you don't need her. Like there's other people out and all this and that. So
No, totally. So one of our listeners got a was dumped in a way that she's very upset about. Now, I firmly believe there is no right way to break up with someone.
there is not a right way to break up with somebody.
No, but if you read this scenario, I was definitely like,
There's definitely wrong ways.
definitely,
no right way.
This one is interesting. This seems like something out of, honestly, like a bad rom-com. All right, so first listener email, and she puts as her subject line, PSA, the in-person breakup is not always the move. Okay. I had a frustrating experience a few weeks back, so this is part venting, part question. I'm 27 female, living in a big city, on the apps. I matched with a guy on Hinge, and we'd been on 2 dates. I was still trying to figure out my feelings for him. I didn't feel a spark or anything per se, but he was nice and decent looking, and I thought feelings could grow. That Thursday evening, he texted asking what I was doing the following night. While my girlfriends were trying to coordinate a going out night, nothing was set in stone, so I told him that. He asked if I'd be down to get cocktails at this new place that opened downtown. I said, would love to, and he made the date. The next day, I got dressed up and did hair and makeup, parentheses, appropriate for this location, and headed to the cocktail bar. When I got to him, we ordered drinks, and after a few pleasantries, he proceeded to break up with me. She wrote that in all caps. He did the whole, hey, I've enjoyed getting to know you speech, and all I could say was, I'm sorry, did you invite me here under false pretenses as a way to break up with me? He replied that he prefers to do breakups in person, as it's the quote-unquote right thing to do. I pulled up his text, showing him that his invite for this evening indicated this was a date. Why not just ask to go somewhere to talk? He said if he did that, then he wouldn't be able to give me an in-person breakup, as I'd likely question it and he'd be forced to reveal his intentions via text. I said, no shit, Sherlock. I'd rather have known yesterday and save myself the time, hair, and makeup. He replied that I didn't have to do hair and makeup, and I pointed out, based on the upscale place that he chose, yes, I did. If he had to have his good guy moment, why not a private setting, or a walk, or even a fucking coffee shop? He literally chose the most date plan and place in the entire world. Another thing, this conversation's happening in public. If this was a text, phone call, I could have handled my feelings privately and not felt humiliated. It was like something out of a bad rom-com. On our way out, the guy said, I did the right thing, but I guess no good deed goes unpunished. To make matters worse, that evening my girlfriends went to see the Barbie movie right when my date started, so not only was I pissed off and embarrassed, I was all dressed up with nowhere to go. What the actual fuck? I know things like ghosting are a problem, but don't go so far in the other direction where you invite someone out under the guise of a nice date just to ambush them. If you have to bait and switch someone to get your magic in-person breakup, you're doing this to make you feel good and pat yourself on the back, not showing quote-unquote kindness or doing a favor to the other person. I don't care if you feel like a good guy or not. My time is valuable and no one looks to look like an idiot in public. In general to me, the in-person breakup feels a bit much for someone you're 2 dates in with to begin with. If you're in a committed, established relationship, breakups 100% should be in person. Prior to that, though, is it really that necessary? A short text message would have been more than appropriate in this scenario. Hell, I would have rather been ghosted. She puts, just to add, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that he truly meant well and was clueless. In some ways, it almost felt like he knew in person was too much after 2 dates, and he'd set the stage for me to show up expecting a date so he could feel powerful or desired at my expense. I don't want to think that, but this was just so extreme, so it's hard not to. So what's your take? Am I out of line to be pissed? Can you also spread the word that when trying to quote-unquote do the right thing, you should also be socially aware and consider the context, otherwise it defeats the purpose altogether. Thanks. That was a long one.
That guy sucks.
What do you
That guy's an asshole. Wow. I will start by this. We are men. Mm-hmm. We don't necessarily always think the correct way. Mm-hmm. We, in our head, it seems like it's a good idea and we're going about it the right way, but it's completely wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like men are very trial and error too. I wouldn't be surprised if he just like had some high school girlfriend that freaked out on him for breaking up with him over text message, and then like that's just what he does ever since.
Because I feel like in society it's just kind of like a bad thing to like break up over text. Like you never break up over text.
Yeah.
But then again, if they've only been on 2 dates, is it really a breakup? That's
the thing. Like I'm very pro. I think we should all have more breakups because in a sense that like there's a lot of ghosting and fizzling, and some people think something's still active and alive, and another person's like, it's fine, it fizzled out, and then people aren't on the same page. So I do think like those texts are kind of helpful. just to like put a bow on things and say like I'm done. So like there's no like loose ends or anything like that. But yeah, this is definitely it's definitely like kind of a weird move. Like 2 dates in, and then you're like, I'm gonna have this in-person breakup.
She's not in the wrong for being mad by any means, because for one, he told you where you were going. Well, for one, he texted you like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Automatically you're already like, oh, he wants to hang out, that's a date. And then 2, he texts you where you're going, and you're like, okay, we're going here. So again, you think it's a date. And then 3, he just drops that on you out of nowhere after you got ready and after you already told him that you might have plans with your friends. Yeah, no, she's not wrong for being mad.
Yeah, and like, yeah, because I do think like, yeah, I mean, it definitely is an extreme story. Like choosing in-person breakup after 2 dates, and then not only choosing an in-person breakup, but choosing something like. And I know he probably he didn't say we're going to go on a date or call it a date. So maybe, but I mean, like, there's also, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. If you choose a meeting that is by all accounts a date place.
And I feel like not many people say, hey, you want to go on a date here? They're just like, hey,
exactly.
You want to meet up? We're going to go here. And if you're already saying we're going to go here, that means you've already thought about it and you're already planning it. So you're going to assume that it's a date.
Yeah. And so, like, I think, as a whole, it's like, that's I feel like it's a pretty extreme choice. I think, I mean, one thing I do not think this is some Machiavellian villain trying to pull a fast one on you. I think by all accounts, this guy is clueless. I think
he's clueless too. He, from what it sounds like, he didn't mean any harm.
Yeah, he literally explained his reasoning of like, I'm trying to do the right thing. Like, I think,
but me, if that were me and I was him, I probably just would have stopped texting. Yeah. That's me.
Yeah, I think it would have been like a short text message would have sufficed.
Like if you went on 2 dates, that's like, not that it's nothing, but it's like, it's still early in the stage where it's like, you're not even like set in stone with the person. Like you aren't official, or like it's not exclusive. Like it doesn't necessarily matter. So like I would have just probably not texted.
Yeah. Well, my personal take is it doesn't become ghosting until someone reaches out to you saying they want to hang out with you and you ignore it. Like otherwise it's just a fizzle. Like you can just assume they feel the same way, because also people don't want to be the person that texts someone who hasn't even asked to hang out with them and says, hey, by the way, I don't like you, and then it's like it feels presumptuous in a way. Like where it's like, oh, like you're just sitting here waiting by the phone for me to call you. So I think like, if they're not texting you, like I don't think you have to say anything. But I think this would have been perfect for a text message.
That would have been perfect, text message or fizzle out. Yeah. Those two. I mean, there's no reason for it to be in person. And then if you are going to do it in person, you shouldn't do it at some, I guess, high-end place that they did it at. It could have been like your house or some, I don't know, her house somewhere. I don't know.
Totally. And at what point do you think an in-person breakup is necessary?
I feel like you have to be at least dating.
Yeah.
Like together. Like it's y'all two only. And it's any time that you're dating, no matter how long it is, if like at that point, that's when like an in-person breakup, or if you're just talking for a long time, but like nothing's ever like really official, that's another. Because some people are like that.
Yeah, I do think because I think I've been in some of those situations. It's almost like one of those like sorry to be profane, like shit or get off the pot situations where it's been going on dates for like 2 months or something, and it's one of those like we either call this a relationship or we part ways, and I think I've had some of those where they were in person, but yeah, like I also think so in person. Definitely for, in a committed relationship, what should be kind of like the logistics on that as well? Because I think you mentioned, why would you have it in a way that looks like a date? It looks like everything about this breakup felt like it was a date. Where, like, the logistics, where should a breakup take place? An in-person breakup.
In person, it kind of just depends on where you're at in the relationship. That one, if that was in person, maybe at one of y'all's houses, maybe if y'all are comfortable enough, maybe just grab some coffee and just be outside somewhere. Something like that. I don't think it should be like at some public place, because like I said earlier, like no matter who you are, you don't like if you're getting broken up with, you don't. It's not. It doesn't feel good.
No.
And it like you can read people's body language, and for you to do it there with it's probably popular and people are there.
I also think like it also I don't like the idea of like doing it in a public place, like, and I know there's like safety things where it's like if you're in a very toxic relationship where you're worried for your safety and a public breakup is what gives you witnesses, that's one thing. But I do think if you're the dumper, I think something you owe the dumpy is giving them a comfortable place to respond to a breakup.
Yeah.
So somewhere where they can actually like share their feelings, like, yeah, they're probably going to call you an asshole, and you as the dumper, like that's sort of the caveat. You get to be the one to choose in the relationship. You're going to be called a few names, and like you got to deal with that.
Like, it's hard to like also do it at one of each other's houses because you've only been on 2 dates.
Yeah.
So you also might not be 100% comfortable with that either.
Yeah. Well, I think if you're not even comfortable going to one another's houses, then maybe you shouldn't be doing an in-person breakup.
True.
Like, I think being comfortable in one another's homes should probably be, I guess, the bar for that. I think that's a good bar for it. I think also I was always I remember like way back when, like the ways that when I talked with friends, like how we would decide the best way to break up with someone was to be the one to go to their house, because that way you could leave, not necessarily assuming that the person that you're dating is like a crazy person that you invite them to your house and you'd have to like force them out of your house. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm gonna leave now, but going to their house, and doing it like there.
Yep. The worst part of it, she missed Barbie.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the worst part of it, she missed Barbie.
Yeah, like, it's also, he literally chose a prime date time, too.
Yeah.
On top of that. I think, breakup logistics, too. Do you think that, the plan to meet up with someone for a breakup, do you think that, like, that kind of organization of a breakup, like the invitation to break up, basically, in person, should that, have any sort of hints of what's about to happen? Like, should it begin with a we need to talk?
Yes.
Yeah.
To at least get them kind of prepared.
I agree. And I think first off, like most breakups don't happen just like very sudden like that. So I think usually there's probably like, a big roller coaster leading into it.
And for the most part, if you say, hey, can we talk? Or hey, we need to talk, you kind of already know.
Yeah. Yeah, don't be like, oh, hey, like, let's just meet here.
Yep.
Oh, why not? Because, that way, then you would, like, refuse, and then that way I wouldn't be able to break up with you in person. It's like, no, that's kind of the point.
Yeah, no. Yeah, she has every right to be mad.
Yeah. I would be pissed.
I would, too. Like, the biggest thing is, well, there's a few big things. One, like, for me, my friends do, like, I stay home a lot. I don't really go out that much. But my friends still do mean a lot to me. So if I tell you that I'm planning something with my friends, but nothing's set in stone yet, you should at least kind of respect that and be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that day because they might do something. Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, most people are gonna do something with their friends, even if like stuff isn't planned. Something's gonna get planned. So that was a big thing, and then doing it in the public was a big thing, and then the other big thing was you insinuating that that's kind of a date.
Yeah, no, that's people.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
he sucks.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry for her. I'm sorry.
That's super sex. And I'm pulling up my next kind of question. What's new? What's coming up at Opinionated Media lately?
Oh, so as y'all can see, some of y'all, the microphone's a little bit in the way. I don't know which right here. We got a few merch coming out. The last 2 days I've been working on the website a lot. I pretty much got everything done. So we have our website coming out.
Woo.
When is this airing?
Ours, the one that I was on. It's already
no. This podcast, our podcast.
I'm going to put it up tonight.
Tonight, okay. Yeah. So next weekend or the weekend after. So within the next 2 weeks, we will have our merch out. We're gonna have 3 shirts, 2 hats. So that's kind of the next big things for us. Is our website's coming out and our merch is finally coming out. We've had the website for a while. We just didn't necessarily have a need for it, but got it back. It's back up. It's running, and we're gonna have our merch drop here soon. So this is one of the shirts. This is my personal favorite shirt
looks great.
that we're gonna have.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Everyone get your Opinionated Media merch.
We've been talking about merch for a while, but now it's finally happening.
Nice. Nice. I'm super excited. Yeah, our next quick hit before we go into our final mailbag. We're going to talk preferences and deal breakers when it comes to dating, choosing who you want to date. I guess to kick this off, do you have any really, really unique or silly preferences or deal breakers, that you had like while you were dating?
No, not really. I'm not really. I never was, and I'm not really picky because I just feel like if we like vibe and have a good connection, and if you talk to them for a while, if they make you happy, then I don't know. There was never really anything I'm like. I mean, there was.
What was
I
it?
guess. So I used to. Well, this was old Carlos, not new Carlos. I didn't like when my significant other smoked. That was my thing. That was my deal breaker, actually. I didn't like when my significant other smoked. So my last relationship, she did often, and she always like hid it behind my back, I guess you could say. But now I don't know. I just look at it from a different point of view now. Like, if it's not harming like the relationship, then there's no need to like make a big deal out of it. And if it's not harming the other person, then there's no need to make a big deal out of it. We all have stuff that we do that our significant other doesn't like. It's just part of a relationship. You just kind of have to find that balance.
Totally.
Meet in the middle.
Agreed. Have you ever come across like when you're out going on dates, like meeting new people, did you ever come across anybody that had like a really goofy preference or deal breaker? Maybe they ended something for a silly reason, anything like that?
I've never, with friends, yes. Like one of my friends specifically, yes.
What was it?
What isn't it? He's so picky. It's just the smallest thing. If she just wears like a regular t-shirt and shorts to go to the grocery store, I'm like, no, why aren't you dressing up? Or if he like talks like a little bit ghetto or like gets a little bit crazy when she's drunk, like just the smallest things, it just turns him off and he's like done. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I had any, because nothing comes to mind as being like a weird hard deal breaker. I mean, smoking would bug me. I feel like that's almost like a given. I mean, if someone who hates like cats and dogs just because I have both, that would be a deal breaker.
That would probably be a deal breaker for me if you don't want like the dog, because I love dogs. I'm a dog person. I'm sad to say, but I love dogs more than humans. We don't deserve dogs.
No.
If you didn't want a dog, I don't know, because I have a dog of my own, and then I want other dogs. So if you didn't want a dog, I don't know if I couldn't do it. But the people who don't want dogs, once you end up getting the dog, they fall in love with it.
Well, that's what happens, though. I mean, I think you see all like and you see like all over, if you're flipping through TikTok, just like, oh yeah, the dad that said he never wanted a dog.
Yep,
now
and
it's
he's
his
like,
best
oh
friend.
yeah, he's all next to the dog and spoils the dog, and yeah.
Do you think some preferences are more acceptable than others, or do you think all preferences are created equal?
I think they're all created equal.
I think everyone's entitled to their preferences and stuff. I think there's some that make you sound worse if you say it aloud. Like there's some where people will be like,
you like what you like and you don't like what you don't like. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, you can't tell someone how to live their life. There's stuff that they like that you aren't going to like, and there's stuff that you like that they aren't going to like. It's just how it is. Exactly. That's with anything. I mean, there's stuff. Cam's like an Oklahoma fan, and I'm a Texas fan. But like, I'm not his friend. I mean, I'm not gonna stop being his friend because of it. I mean, you just like what you like, and you don't what you don't.
Yeah.
You just, like I said, you got to meet in the middle.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Just meet in the middle.
Exactly. Our next listener has some challenges coming up with some preferences and deal breakers related to a potential fix-up. So I think this will be great for discussion on more of this. So mailbag number 2. Is it wrong to not want to date someone still in school? My 29 male buddy's wife reached out to me a few weeks ago asking if I was open to being set up. I said sure, but obviously depends on the person. Last week she texted saying she had a friend who was quote unquote perfect for me that I had to meet, and sent her Instagram. The friend was hot, so I said I could be interested, but asked what is she like. My buddy's wife rattled off a few nice qualities about how she has a dog, loves the gym, but then said she's in her second year of law school. That had me pause. I told the wife, I'm not sure I want to date someone still in school. She replied saying it was law school and that she already had her undergrad degree, parentheses, I know how law school works. I clarified it was more about scheduling and wanting to date someone in the same life stage, and that sort of set her off. She said her friend is, quote unquote, very mature and has her shit together, and that I was making a lot of assumptions about someone for being a student without even bothering to get to know her. Wasn't a fun conversation. Not to be unfair, but it's hard not to consider how different a student's life is from someone working a corporate job. I work remote, which allows me to work from anywhere, and would ideally like to date someone in a similar situation so we could travel together. It's also nice to date someone who gets it when it comes to talking about my day at work. Also, I don't mean to sound bad or cheap by this, but I'd like to date someone who has their own money, at least to some extent. I don't mind paying for first dates or even second or third, but I worry that by dating a student, we either couldn't do anything at all, or I'd be stuck footing the bill for everything. I know I'm, quote unquote, allowed to have preferences, but is it still allowed when the preferences are based on assumptions? Do I owe someone a chance or getting to know them before rejecting them? Also, what's the right response to people who question or give rebuttals to your preferences?
So, I don't think there's wrong with dating anyone that's in school. Mm-hmm. You just have to know how to schedule certain stuff, because the scheduling will be difficult, especially for law school, especially second year. I'm pretty sure second year is their hardest.
Yeah.
So she won't have that much time until school's over, just because that's pretty sure it's their hardest year. So they're studying, because one of my friends is in law school, and I'm a gamer, and there's an app we use called Discord, and during the school year, every night he's in Discord with us, but he's not playing a game. He's always like reading and doing all his stuff that he has to do, and all that good stuff. But I don't think there's a problem with it. At the end of the day, you just got to give it a chance, because you're just kind of blocking your blessings in a way, because you don't know what this person's like. This person could be the one for you, but you will never know, because you won't give it a chance. And law school is only 3 years, so she's in her second year, so she only has one more year. I don't see a problem with it. You just have to be okay and understand the situation. And if you want to, I would say at least give it a try, because you're not going to know until you try.
Yeah, I think because I wrestle with it, because I think everyone's entitled to their preferences, and I can understand where he's coming from. Like, you know, you have your life in order, and you want someone.
You're on two different paths of life.
Exactly. And like when you're kind of 29, 30, like you've lived life on this earth, and you've like established yourself, and it's kind of like when you're finding that puzzle piece of someone to fit next to you. Like, I don't know, when people get in relationships when they're in their early 20s or something, it's like they grow together, like they grow up together, they almost have like a shared brain, I would say. And I feel like maybe that now that he's older, he's kind of like, I want to get to someone where it's like the finished product's already there. I'm sure like he knows she'll be a lawyer in like 2 years or something, but it's kind of like, on the way there, like, couldn't we have like the fun dates and go on the trips and stuff. So I can like see where he's coming from, and I do think like I don't think he's making too many assumptions, in a sense that he's saying like it's about scheduling, which she's going to be busy. I think it's, students don't have really income coming in, and then if you're a student, you also don't have the flexibility to travel. So I don't think because it's not like he's saying, because I think if anyone's making assumptions, it's the friend where she says, oh, you think she's mature. It's like, he didn't say like, oh, she's in school, so that means she's like a partier. It's just like she will be busy because she's in school. But like, I don't think he's making too many assumptions. I think one challenge though that comes with like when friends set you up is like there's nothing that can be casual about it. Like I think that's probably where his head's at too, is like I think it'd be different if they met out at a bar or something, but like the second it's like a friend sets you up and stuff, it's like you almost like have to be serious about it from the start. So maybe he's like giving himself that sort of grace where he wouldn't agree to it.
Because when he gets set up by friends, it can get pretty messy quick. Yeah. So that's the other thing you have to think about as well.
Yeah. So I think that would be part of it. I don't think he's wrong for having these preferences. I don't think like, no, you're not somebody that's like prejudiced against lawyers or people trying hard. Yeah.
I don't think he's wrong for having it, but because the reason you go after somebody because you like the way they look and you're attracted to them. So if you already have that going, I wouldn't let the law school stop you from like at least giving it a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Because I said it's only 3 years. She's in her second year,
mm-hmm.
and she has one more year after that,
Mm-hmm.
and then afterwards, y'all gonna have all the money in the world, travel wherever you want.
Yeah, I wonder if like, because this is like, do you have like married friends and stuff yet?
No.
Okay. Well, when your friends get married and they have wives, there's going to be some that become extremely freaking annoying. Because the way that the married woman who's like, probably a year or two into her marriage, when she's had all the Instagram posts of her wedding that have gotten all the likes and she's run out of likes from that. This is what fucking married women do. I have been the victim of this type of friend before, and it is the worst. Because I would feel like a setup that would be better would be, I'm throwing a party, I would love for you to meet this girl, versus like, here's her Instagram, now you two go on this formal date. Like, I would say to him, like, hey, like, maybe like dodge the asks for like set up for a date, but like, hey, when are you guys all going out together next? Like, would love to meet her there, where it can feel just more casual, where the stakes feel lower. Because it does sound like he's attracted to her. I mean, like, lawyers are smart and stuff. And then it also just kind of gives you the leeway to kind of hear from her, like, what her schedule actually is. Like, you don't, like, I think his assumptions were fair. Because I think, like, a lot of us make assumptions in terms of deal breakers, I guess. Like, but I think just to hear it from her.
Also, at the same time, she probably thinks he's attractive as well. Because I feel like the wife isn't going, hey, I have this friend, so she already knows her. So she's probably already brought her up to, how am I trying to say that? She already brought him up to her. Mm-hmm. So she's probably already seen him. And she was like, okay, yeah. And that's why she went to the guy.
Yeah. I feel like it could go either way. I think I've like known women who've done this before, where they don't
without
tell
saying
anybody.
Anything?
No, because what they want to do is play matchmaker. They're like, maybe I just have like an axe to grind against when people do this, because I have been put on ambush dates by my married friends who've run out of Instagram posts, and they're just like, here's this person, and then all of a sudden I'm like, why do I feel like this person thinks they're on a date with me? And then it's like, are you freaking kidding me? So I think like this, as soon as you can, if you're gonna accept a setup, just kick the friend out from being the middleman. Like, okay, let's throw a party, we'll meet, I'll take it from here. And if she keeps bugging saying, did you text her? Like, I'll see her at the party. Like, I'm taking care of my own life.
Yeah. I think you should give it a shot.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, what's the worst going to happen? Nothing?
True.
Then you just go on to the next.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to do anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think you should give it a shot.
Yeah. I think, if you're wondering, shouldn't I would say, yeah, like I would lean toward it. And I would say, if you can make it more casual, like, hey, like, let's all meet at a party versus out.
Yeah. And then you don't even have to like be trying to date at that point. You can at least see if y'all like each other or not, and if you do, and now's just not the time, and if y'all are both still single, you can just rekindle the thing.
Exactly. I agree. And I also, I think one thing I wanted to add too is just preferences that are based on assumptions. A lot of our preferences are based on assumptions, like thinking student means different schedule, means can't really travel, means doesn't have an income. Those are fair assumptions. The same way, like, when I was single and on dating apps, like, I would have my age range, like, my age and up by like probably like 8 years or something like that. And part of that was like, it wasn't that I didn't want to date a 23-year-old because I just, hated the number 23. It was like the assumptions you make for that is like, they're going to be in a different place in life. Like, their version of a fun time is different than mine, and it's a bit of playing a numbers game. So all preferences, I would say, are based on
another
assumptions.
big thing too is like maturity levels. That's another big thing. I don't know how young the girl is, because he's 29.
Yeah,
I don't know how young she is.
Yeah, law students, like, a lot of times I think they do like spend like a year or two working after they finish school. I'm sure she's late 20s.
Yeah, well, my friend was a little bit different, because he's younger than me, and this is his last year in law school, and I think he's like turning 24. 25, wow. Yeah.
Ambitious.
He just went straight into it, yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying. Yeah. No. Do you think? I guess this is a silly question. Do you think any specific jobs are red flags?
That all just kind of stems from you, what you're okay and not okay with. I personally wouldn't want a girl who works at, I don't know what you would call it, I guess, a dancer.
Okay.
I wouldn't want that, but there's some men who are okay with that and fine with that. That's just not for me. That's a red flag. I'm like, no. Even if you're a server, I'm like no. But I think the jaw just kind of stems on like what you are and aren't okay with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I did this like survey, and I did it on my Instagram. It was for like a TikTok thing where it was more around like, do men care about, women's successes? Does it play a role in attraction? And it was like male, female, like, let's see like how much it plays in people's attraction. And then I, of course, had like free response. And one thing that surprised me is I thought it was going to be more around success. Like how many people put like specific role, how they wouldn't date a certain role or occupation. It had nothing to do with how much money people made. Like some people you could just tell like they got dumped by a teacher and they never want to date a teacher again. But there were some things in there where it was like, I wouldn't want to date someone in the military because we'd have to move a lot. Or like, I wouldn't want to, like, of course, there were people in there saying, I don't want to date a cop, with, because of, politics and stuff. Or like, of course, there are people saying, I don't want to date somebody who's, a dancer or has, an OnlyFans or something like that. So there was like a big, like, mix all across the board of like, reasons why people would or wouldn't want to date certain professions. But yeah, I found that pretty interesting.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you want to do it, by all means, do it. You got to support yourself however you can. That's how you make your money, But that's just not something, that's not someone who I would want to date.
Yeah.
And also at the same time, I'm at the age, and before you got in a relationship, you're at the age where like, you don't want to bring this person home to
that matters.
Mom and dad.
Yeah.
Like,
and there's some correlation, causation with like success and what you choose to do and, how they would kind of fit in your life in that way.
Yeah, because it's like you bring home mom and dad. Oh, so and so, what do you do? I'm a dancer. Oh, okay. Yeah, like that's just something else I think about.
Are you really close with your family?
I'm very close with my family. Yeah.
Nice. Is your mom like mama bear with when you bring people back to meet the family?
She with my current girlfriend. It's more my. No, I wouldn't say no, but she's like real close with my current girlfriend. They like click
That's
like
good.
that. And
is that good or bad?
I feel like it's good because you don't really think about it, but it's true. But people always say you always end up being with somebody that's like your mom or somebody that's like your dad if you're the girl. And she's exactly like my mom. They're like the same person. It's kind of crazy. But my family just like a lot of jokesters, so they just like joke around a lot. Especially my dad. My dad's like the biggest jokester.
Nice.
And he's just always like talking shit to me and about me, but it's always in a joking way. So when like people come around, he'll do it more just to like to try to embarrass me. But it's not really mama bear, but
nice.
But this one she has like clicked.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. If your family didn't like your significant other, would that be a deal breaker?
Yes.
There's your deal breaker.
That is another deal breaker. You don't really think about them until you see them.
You don't think about them until you see them, yeah.
But yeah, because obviously I would want my family to be okay with whoever I'm with, just because that can just cause drama later down the line, or just if you want to go on trips or whatnot, stuff like that. Because my brother's girlfriend is not welcomed anywhere.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so like I wouldn't want anything like that. So yeah, that would be a deal breaker for sure.
Yeah. What have you ever dated someone where you didn't really, you felt like you didn't vibe with their family? Either maybe you didn't really care for them, or that you just felt like you didn't click with them.
Yes.
Did it play a role in whether the relationship ending?
Yes, because it's like I don't know. It's hard to be around people you can't like be comfortable with, or like be yourself around. So it's not somebody you necessarily, not that you don't want to be with them, because you could be yourself around them, but it's like it's more than just them if it's serious at that point.
Yeah. And
you do want, at least I want my girlfriend's parents to like me, and they do, but just in general, like I would want my girlfriend's parents to like me, and I would want to like them. It just makes everything easier. So if it has been a situation where it was like that.
Yeah. Well, you marry into a family.
Yeah.
I feel like family dynamics matter. They matter a lot.
Yeah. It's always easier once you just kind of know, like when you find, I guess that person, like on both ends, like the way you click and the way you click with their family and the way their family clicks with you. Like you just know, and that's how it is with my current girlfriend. I love her family. It's fun. They have fun. It's just like my family. So it's very easy.
Nice. Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Oh no, I had one more question. This is a semi quick hit that I got as an Instagram question, and it's perfect for a guy to help me answer. A girl wrote in saying her guy friend told her that if a guy says he's meeting a buddy, he's meeting up with a friend, but if he says he's meeting up with a friend, he's going on a date. If a guy says that to a girl. Meeting up with a buddy, he's meeting up with a friend. Meeting a friend, he's going on a date.
He's going on a date for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting take. It was funny because I told my boyfriend that last night, and he was just like, "That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard." But his name's Buddy, so I think of people. He's not running around saying, "Oh, I'm meeting up with Buddy" because he's Buddy, or his friends aren't. Because it would.
I wouldn't say. Okay, I'm not gonna say for sure. It kind of just depends on the guy.
Yeah.
If he's known to do that, then obviously. But now that I know his name's Buddy, completely different.
Yeah, I think he might be an exception to the rule because, like, in his social circle, I think when people say Buddy, they might be thinking of Buddy. But I heard that and I was like, I feel like all guys call their friends their buddies, and so it's like if they say friend, I don't know.
Yeah, because typically if we say friend, or I'm going to have lunch with a friend. At least with my friend group, we say homies.
Yeah. Or they would say something more affectionate like that.
Yeah, I'm going to meet with one of my homies, or I'm going to hang out one of my homies, or I'm going to hang out with this dude. But when it's a girl, I'm like, I'm going to have dinner with all my friends.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
yeah, that's a friend. Yeah, it's funny because like Buddy's just like, he's like, you know what that is? He's like, that's a guy who's she friend zoned, who's trying to like gaslight her into like thinking the guys don't like her, that she goes and like turns to him. He got like kind of heated. It was pretty funny. Yeah. But like I was like, I could see that one. Like I feel like just a guy just casually saying someone's their friend versus a buddy, a homie, something.
And with my friend group, we pretty much know all of everybody's friend, so. You would at least say the name.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you say friend, then we know it's like,
Also, like, two guys just, like, going to dinner together. And it's, like, a nice place or going to a cocktail place. It's like, that would be a little bit interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
If someone asks you what you're doing on a weekend night, say you're out there dating, you're talking to a few people on a dating app, and, you know, option number one, you're going on a date with them on Friday night. Option number two hits you up and says, you know, hey, what's going on? What are you doing on Friday night? Do you tell her that you're going on a date with somebody else? What do you tell her, or what do you tell her?
If you're not exclusive to anybody, you're not obligated to tell them anything.
Yeah.
So I'm not telling him that I'm not telling the other person that I'm going on a date with somebody else that on Friday night. I'm just like, hey, I'm busy. I'm hanging out with some friends or something, because you're not obligated to tell them anything.
And that's what I would say too. There's some people that have been in my TikTok comment section where it's like, you must always be honest all the time. It's like, you know, sometimes it's like you have to choose between honesty and kindness, and most people choose kindness.
Most people choose kindness because at the end of the day, you do have to also protect yourself. So it's like if you are honest, and then the one that you're going on a date with could like. The one that you're not going on a date with could not lead somewhere because you're honest, and this one didn't even go anywhere, and it's like, damn, here we are.
Yeah, I also think like early stages of dating, that kind of things like happens, like, you know, when you're just like 1-2 dates in with people, like no. But yeah, there's some people that have been in my TikTok comment section that are like, someone asks you should say that I'm going on a date. It's like, that also it also, I feel like, isn't tactful to the other person. Like, I feel like every person should be made to feel like they're the only one, like, for, you know, as a kindness to them in a way. Like, give them the red carpet experience, like, you know, things go on behind closed doors, and it probably does for them too. So yeah.
If y'all are dating, you're probably not the only one either.
Yeah,
I would say so. Unless you're like, until it's like 5-6 dates in, you're probably not the only one either. So yeah, I would say no. I wouldn't say anything. You're not obligated to.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Before we close things out, anything you want to leave us with stuff coming up at Opinionated Media? Anything that we should check out? What's on the calendar?
Merch, like I said earlier, merch and website. Those would be the two biggest things. Obviously, the guests continue to be great. And then hopefully Q1 next year we have our studio.
Yes.
So that's like our big goal. our two biggest goals: getting a studio and monetization.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard doing a podcast and getting monetized, just like naturally.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those are our biggest two goals. Those are the biggest things coming up: is a studio, Q1, and then our merch and website that will be next weekend or the weekend after. No later than 2 weeks. Those are the biggest two things that I can think of off the top of my head.
Nice. Do you want to give any teasers to anything like really big on the horizon? Any big ideas in you and Cam's brains that you guys are thinking of doing?
No teasers. Just gotta stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
I'm like that. I'm very secretive. I don't like any leaks getting out or like anything getting leaked. So I'm a very secretive person. I like people. I like to keep the people like, oh, what's next? Or
just a
like,
big drop on Monday.
Just a
like
big drop,
it
like
all
bam.
drops.
Yep.
Love it.
Love it.
So stay tuned for the drop, everybody.
Yes,
Awesome.
ma'am.
You want to leave us with any final words of wisdom to those out there dating?
You just gotta do it. Either now or never. You just gotta do it.
Yep.
Like I said about the guy, like just go for it. It's either gonna happen or it's not gonna happen. And if it doesn't happen, you're just on to the next one, and that's where you currently are at anyway. So, if you're dating or if you're scared to date, just jump into it. It is scary, but once you get into it, it is fun.
Yeah.
And whether you date them or not, you could end up meeting some lifelong friends.
And just having experiences, just being able to say you met a new person, you tried something cool. Like, I mean, yeah, there's kind of caveats to it, but there's an adventure that comes with it. Everyone loves an adventure.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on. This was fun.
Thank you. Yeah, anytime.
Fun.
Yeah, it was great having
I'm
Cam.
always
and
down.
then
Anytime.
It's great to have
both
you
of
as
us.
well.
Yeah, both of us.
I would love to have you both out here to go back and forth and kind of sit on the other sides of me, and we can go through some of these questions and like go through some
would both be down.
hot takes.
Anytime.
Let's do one of those sometime.
Your sister isn't available. We'll definitely be down. It's fun. I said, this is fun for us just because we're on the opposite side of it, and it's also fun because it's a whole different topic than like what we talk about. Because for you guys who don't know, we're just very we interview people that are just creators and entrepreneurs of such. So we just basically ask them like how they got into what they're doing, and then what they're doing now, and then how that is, and then their goals going forward. So this is completely different and it's fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'd love. Yeah, and they opened up like Saturday time slots too, so that'll be fun.
Nice. Yeah. That'll be fun for us too.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you again. That was fun.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being my guest. This is fantastic. Anytime. This will be up tonight, everybody. So.
Alrighty. Up tonight everywhere.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. I'm gonna send it to everybody.
Yay! Let's go. Awesome. Thank you so much, and I'll send you like the TikTok style clips as well.
Perfect.
Yay! Thanks so much for coming on, and thanks everyone for listening. We'll catch y'all next time. Bye.